Okay, now that we have the basic setup together, we have all our divs in, it's time to go ahead and place in some content. Now we're not going to put any styles on just yet. We're going to place in the content, we're going to place in the text, and we're going to place in our images. So it's very important to follow along in the paper so that you can do this step by step and not miss a step. If you miss a step, then it's not going to come out the way that you want it to. So HTML structure and the family tree. Understanding the relationship between HTML elements is important when it comes to styling a web page. So browsers treat the HTML structure like a family tree. Elements nested inside or outer elements are referred to as children or descendants. So the outer elements, which we have created in this file and as our outer wrapper, are known as the parent or the ancestor, and elements that are at the same level of the HTML structure are called the siblings. Just like you inherit certain characteristics from your parents, HTML elements inherit most styles from their parents, but they can also have individual styles of their own. So that's where your cascading style sheets come in handy. So I'm going to actually open up this file. You can go into that little folder that says content, and you open up this file, and it's called content 1. I just created a RIF file. Could have created a Word document. A lot of times whoever your client is, they will most likely give you a Word document, but I didn't want to have any problems with some students not being able to open it up due to the fact that I use a Mac and many of you are using a PC. So if you're building a website for someone, the client will most likely provide you with the text content. And like I said, it could be in a word process file like I have here, or it can be a Microsoft Word document. So if the document has been styled with headings and paragraphs, Dreamweaver will actually convert the word styles into the appropriate HTML elements when you copy and paste. But you have to use the paste special command. So I'm going to copy and paste this very first section here where it says be where it's at. I'm just going to select it, right click, and copy it. And now I'm going to go over into my file, and I want it to go right here, okay? I want it to go right here in this first article section. Now if I select here with the text, and you can actually see right here where it says content for new article goes here. So you want to eliminate that. You can actually do it right here on the design side. Actually, if you do it on the design side, then you're going to get the paste special. If you do it in the HTML side, you won't get that. So I'm going to just go edit, and I'm going to go paste. Now see, it actually came in the way I wanted to, but I'm going to do this over again, and I'm going to select edit, paste special. And then when that opens up, you can see where it says text with structure, paragraph, and list. And then I'm going to hit OK. Alright, so the very first one that I have here where it says be where it's at is actually going to be a heading. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to make it a heading 2. It's very easy to do. All I have to do is select the text. I haven't put any styles on this now, remember this. And I'm going to let Dreamweaver help me. This saves a lot of time. You use all the different features that are inside Dreamweaver. And I'm going to select heading 2. Later on, we're going to put some styles on this. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place in my my next paragraph. So the next I'm going to do is I'm going to select where it says riding the cable cars, and I'm going to copy and paste this the same way. Make sure that you get all the text. Right click and copy. I'm going to place it where it says content for main goes here. That's why I left this text here. You want to just check your HTML side to make sure everything is going in the way it should go in. Okay, so you want it to be after the ID equals main. And if you look over here, it looks like it's going in correctly. And I'm going to select edit, paste special. And then again, it opens up text with structure. And then I'm going to hit OK. You can also select paste preferences and go through all the different preferences that you can do if you want. You can kind of play around with this. and I'm going to just hit OK. And again, I want to make this a heading, so I'm going to select my text. I'm going to make this a heading 2, and I'm going to save. I always keep saving, so in case I miss something, I can go back and it's already saved and I won't get lost in my file. And you'll notice that if you go down here, that Dreamweaver has actually created some paragraphs for you. So right here, the second one, it brought in the style that you took from the document. This case was my Word, not a Word document, but a text ed document. So it copied and pasted that, and you see where it has paragraph. So it started a new paragraph here, a new paragraph there, a new paragraph here for the third one, and then ending with an opening tag and a closing tag. So I finally want to put in my last section here where it says cable car tips, and I gotta make sure that this goes into the sidebar. So where it says here, where it says sidebar here, I'm going to place it right in there. Again, you have to go down and always have your HTML section open so that you can just take a look and make sure that you are where you're supposed to be. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to right click, I'm going to copy. I'm going to select this text in here. I'm going to paste it. Whoops. It's best to do it to paste it with the special, just to make sure that you get the paragraphs and everything goes in correctly. And again, you can see that it brought in my paragraphs, and I'm going to select my text again, and I'm going to make this a heading 2. So just to let you know a little bit about designing your first heading, base side B is actually considered a logo. You're going to be doing this a little bit different on your file. You're going to actually create a logo in whatever program you decide to use, Photoshop, Illustrator, Fireworks, and you're going to bring it in as an image. So it's going to be a little different here. For simplicity of this file, I just created it as a text, but I treated it a little bit different from the other headings. It's going to be larger than the other headings. I can actually place a size on this once in a style once I start working with cascading style sheets. And you should keep all your other major headings, your subheadings should all be the same size. Now if you have another subheading in your project as you're working in your project, you can make that a heading 3. If you look over here, you open up where it says format, you have a choice. You have heading 3, heading 4, heading 5. You can make all different size headings. But keep in mind that if you have another heading, another smaller subheading, and it goes under this heading, that you have to keep it the same size throughout your file. Everything needs to be consistent. Consistency is very important in web designing. Okay, so I'm going to hop right down here in my footer for a minute. The footer normally contains a copyright notice and other information. You can place in links. You can place in the same links at the top. You can place in extra links down the footer. Like I said, it can have privacy policies and contact details. So the copyright symbol doesn't appear on your computer keyboard, so you have to actually insert it as a HTML entity. So it's very easy to do that in Dreamweaver. So I'm just going to go right here down in the footer, and I'm going to select the text, and you'll see that the text is in between the opening tag and the closing footer tag. And I'm going to go up to the top, and I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to go to character right here and copyright. So you notice that you have a few different characters in there. You can kind of play around with that. There's a pound, there's a trademark, register mark. There's a few characters that come in handy. And then I'm going to select it. But you notice over here in the HTML that it's actually, you can see the text that it actually creates, it's an and sign copy, and then the little mark here to create this right here. So I'm just going to write in copyright. Just write in the text in here, copyright 2015 Bayside Beat. I'm not going to actually put any other information in here. I'm just going to place that in for now. So I'm going to file and save. Let's just preview this and see how it looks. I'm going to preview it in my browser that I like, which is Opera. Okay, so far there's not a lot there, but we're starting to get the structure down. And it actually doesn't look too bad right now. So we're just slowly but surely getting the structure down. So now we're going to start inserting images. Okay? So unlike the structure elements you have inserted so far, there is no option to insert an image relative to the specific tag. The section shows you how to use the tag selector or to move the insertion point to the correct location. So the tag selector at the bottom left of the document window displays a list of tags. You can see these lists of tags down here. You know, we have the body. We can select that, and it shows everything that's in the body, the div, and the wrappers, the footers. You know, you can select just by selecting down here at the bottom of Dreamweaver's file. So I'm going to go ahead and insert an image, my very first image, the hero image, and it needs to be nested inside the hero div, but outside the article. So this can be a little tricky. So the element in the design view, anywhere inside the be where it's at heading or found the paragraph, then select the article tag. So that's a little tricky. So let's go back up here. So right up here is where we want to place the image. So I have to be really careful when I'm placing in this image so that it goes in correctly. I'm actually going to place this image right here. I want it to go after the article and before the end of the div, okay? Because remember we had that hero div in here, but you can't really see it, but it actually is there. So we're going to place it cursive right here, and that is where we're going to insert the image. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go up to the insert panel up on the top, insert, and we're going to insert an image. And it's going to go right out. If you have this selected correctly, then it's going to go right out to your file, and you can open up your images. And the very first image that I'm going to place in here is going to be the Golden Gate image. Now this does not have a caption. We're just going to place in the image. And all you have to do is select the image and then hit open. And it automatically goes in, and it's where I want it to be placed. The reason why it has to be placed correctly is because later we're going to put that little text on top of this image. So I want to make sure that it is correct right now. If I don't have this correct, then it's not going to show up properly when I try to put in my text on top of this image. So I'm going to save at this point. You have to keep remembering to save. So now I'm going to insert an image with a caption. So in the design view, which is this side here, obviously, we're going to scroll down to the main article, which begins with riding the cable cart. So let's go scroll down, and there's the article riding the cable carts. So click anywhere inside the second paragraph, which is this one. Okay, anywhere inside and select after the closing P tag of the second paragraph, then open P tag of the third paragraph. I always find it easier just to do this in the HTML side. So we want to make sure, so here is the third paragraph, right? So I would assume that right here is where I should place this. So it's going to be after the second paragraph and before the third paragraph. Okay, so you want to make sure you have that correct. So once you have that correct, you just have to go up to the top. It's actually pretty easy to put captions in. Dreamweaver makes this very easy to do. So you go up to the structure and go all the way down until you come to where it says figure, and just click that once, and you notice that it automatically makes two tags. So the first tag is going to be for the image and the second tag is going to be for the caption. So I'm going to select this first tag and I'm going to actually delete it. I'm going to go over and make sure that I'm in where I want to be. So you got to look over on the HTML side. You want to make sure you're right in between the figure tag right here. And we're going to insert an image. And I'm going to put in the cable car 1 image and then hit open. And you notice that right below it is my caption. It's nicely sitting here. So I can go back over to my little file here and I'm going to just copy and paste this. Copy and paste this caption since it's already there and I don't have to write it twice. And I'm just going to go back over here and I'm going to just place it in. Okay, so far let me see what I have. I'm going to save this. I'm going to preview this. There's not a lot there, but I'm starting to set up my page. Okay, we're going to put some styles on this page, but I'm starting to get all my elements in that I want to be on my page. It doesn't look like much now, but you'll start to understand as you're working on these files, you'll start to understand how Cascading Style Sheets can help you to design your page and make your life much easier. So let's just continue on here. We have the image now with the caption. I'm going to think I'd like to place one more image in because I want my page to be a little more organized. You know, if you look over on the file here, let me just move this for 1 minute. Let me just open up this so I can show you my file. I like to put the nice little image down here so that everything looks nice and squared off. I don't want any big blank spaces in my file. If you have big blank spaces, then it just looks, it just doesn't look symmetrical. So there are little things that you need to think about as you start working on your file. You don't want any big, you want some nice white space, but you don't want big empty spaces. I'm just going to close this up now. In order to do that, I just have to go scroll down. And I'm just going to very simply place in an image. So I'm going to just go down here. I'm going to put it in after my P tag. I'm going to just move it down and insert an image. And I'm going to choose this image right here, Cable Scenic, and hit OK. Alright, so there we go. Let's just see how this looks. Let's just file and save. Like I said, I haven't put any styles on this yet. Okay, so we have our images in, we have all our text, we have our headings, we have our copyright down the bottom. Oh, I see an error, so I gotta fix that. If you notice errors, you can go ahead and fix them as you're working on the file. Alright, file, save. So before I get going here, I'm going to just place in my navigational links and create some external links. I'm going to get as much done as I possibly can before I, before I start putting in style sheets. Now, let me just scroll up to the top. I'm going to actually create some dummy pages, and that way I can just link my file to all the dummy pages. So I'm just going to go up to the top and I'm going to go File, New. It's just going to be an empty page for now. It's going to create an empty HTML blank page, nothing on it. Create. I'm just going to File, Save As, and I'm going to save this one as Sightseeing. And I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to save another one. And this one I'm going to save as, my next one is Eating Out. Remember, no spaces, okay? No spaces in web design. Make sure you check your spelling. And check your spelling and everything before you go out, and then hit save. Alright, so my third page is going to be what's on. And then I'm going to hit save. Remember, nobody's going to see these pages. These are just your pages that you're creating. And this one I'm going to call it Where to Stay. And then I'm going to save it. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way back. You notice that you have your pages up on top. Dreamweaver has stored them up on top for you, which is really nice. I'll go all the way back to my image. Very easy to link in Dreamweaver. So I'm going to go up to my to the top here, and I'm going to start assigning. If I select home, I'm just going to select the text home. I'm not going to select anything else. And if you go down here where it says link, I can actually go open up the folder and select the page if I want. Or I can just take this little icon and just drag it over. So I'm going to drag this over and select the index page. No, for some reason I don't see it over here. Oh, here it is. Okay, so you can drag it over and select the index page just right here. And it automatically pops in. And I'm going to do the same thing for each one of my links here. I haven't assigned any styles yet, okay? So I'm going to drag this over to sightseeing, eating out, what's on, and where to stay. You save yourself a lot of headaches by putting this on now. I'm going to file and save. So I have my index all linked. I have it linked to all the pages. You can check it and see, but you're not going to see anything. So let's just preview. Let's file and save it first. It looks like I already did. Let's preview in the browser. If I select this, it just goes to a blank page. Okay, so we have it all set. Go back to the home page. Now I want to place in links. I also want to place in some external links. Now if you notice on this paper I have them already written so that I can make my life a little easier. So you just have to find the text that you're going to place in the external link. Okay, so the first one is going to be Fisherman's Wharf. So I have to find Fisherman's Wharf. Okay, so Fisherman's Wharf, let's just find that right here. Okay, and if you notice down here, once I select the text, you just have to highlight the text, and I can place my link in. I can go out here and just select this link, and I can place it right in here. Let's just see how it looks. I always like to check the first one before I start doing too much more. Okay, for some reason it didn't show up. I'm not sure why. No, I didn't save it. Then we have to make sure it's saved. Let's preview it again. Okay, so there's the first one. The first one we want to link. Very easy to link in this program. So now the next one I want to link is under the heading cable car, and I want to link Muni Passport. So we have to find Muni Passport right here. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to go over to this and I'm going to copy this. Okay. And we just have one more to go, and under the cable car tips, it's called BART Subway. I have to find it right here. BART Subway System. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to copy this. Go back here and paste it. And I'm going to save what I have. Now let's just preview what I have. Okay, so I have all my links all linked for the pages in my site. You know, later on I can put in content for those pages if I want to finish the site up. And I have links to pages that the missing one here. Sometimes you have to really check this really careful. For some reason BART Subway didn't show up. Let's go back and see what's going on here. Just save it again. Let's preview it again. Okay, so now it's showing up. Alright, so we have everything all set. Now we just have to go in and start applying our styles and I'm going to stop here.